Good morning and welcome to the Winter Sports Awards Assembly. It's great that we're able to do this on the morning. There's a lot of energy in here, a lot of excitement. We're here to celebrate and recognize the accomplishments and achievements of all of our winter athletes, coaches, and programs. And we generally save the thank yous a little bit at the end. Mr. Halbin, the Dean of Athletics, with Mr. Decker, our Athletic Director. Just because of their busy schedules, I am going to start out with one shout out for our buildings and grounds and maintenance crew. So they're standing here along the wall, and I think we'll give them a big hand. So they do all the work behind the scenes to make sure that our courts, our gyms, our vans, once we get in the fall and the spring, that our fields are ready to go, so that when we step out and we're ready for our competitions and our practices, that there's nothing that gets in the way. So again, let's give them one more big round of applause, and they're going to head out on the rest of their day. Thank you, guys. So I think as we look at the winter season, and we're really lucky here with this stretch of weather for the start of spring, but as we think about how long the winter season is, it's a lot of cold nights, it's a lot of dark nights. So all of our athletes, coaches, and families are really to be commended for, pushing through and striving to come together, for the spirit shown to achieve common goals, for playing hard, no matter the circumstances, and the perseverance really displayed. It's a little different when we get to the fall sports and it's a beautiful sunny day outside, or we get later in the spring when it's just amazing weather. When we're trying to work through the long practices, the long days of the winter season, it's really something special to be able to come together as groups and as individuals and teams to, again, achieve what we're able to achieve with our athletic programs. And I will say that this winter has been one of transitions. We saw new coaching staffs for girls basketball, ice hockey, boys and girls squash teams. We saw the expansion of our crew program to now include our indoor team, which for the first time ever competed in the Connecticut State Indoor Rowing Championships. There were 66 events and over 400 competitors at the tournament, so really great opportunity there. We also saw our girls and boys squash teams travel to Philadelphia for the first time ever for the high school nationals. We had 4 of our junior student athletes from different seasons travel to New York City for a Positive Coaching Alliance event where they had a chance to meet the commissioner of the National Hockey League and actually talk to him about his connections to King. And we saw our boys basketball team earn a home playoff game in the FA League for the first time in 8 years. So really some great accomplishments, some great things happen in our programs. In addition to that, we had students in all grades try sports for the first time. We had freshmen through seniors come back to sports they had played before. We had many of our athletes set their own personal bests, set career highs, and teams and athletes excel in many great moments that many of us in the room were a part of, and many that we didn't get to see with away games and competitions. And everyone in this room should be proud of the achievements and accomplishments and the hard work that was put in, and all the roles that you each played as individuals and as team members in the growth and development of King Athletics. So as we talked about in terms of some recognition and thank yous before we get the program going, I would like to have all the senior student athletes from the winter please stand up. So I'm going to ask you to stay standing for just a minute, please, seniors. So for those in the fall, I talked about a similar message. I think for all the other students and the student athletes in the room to really look around and recognize and appreciate all the time, work, energy, the commitment levels that these seniors have put in. And as their time, unfortunately, is winding down now with athletic participation here at King, and they're going to move on to bigger and better things. For those of you still in the seats, for freshmen, juniors, and sophomores to think about what you want to accomplish in your time here. There's a lot of student athletes that have come before us and have put the King jerseys on, and there's going to be a lot that come after us. As you start to think about what you want to accomplish in your time here, you can look to these seniors that have meant so much to us and think about what you, again, want to make of the time and what legacy you want to leave here. So it's bittersweet for these seniors. Some are now, their careers are over. They're not playing a spring sport. You want to take advantage of the opportunity in front of you and understand not to take it for granted. So let's give these seniors one more round of applause. And I'm not sure if they're in the room, but I did want to make sure we give a special acknowledgement to our athletic trainers, Jason Bound and Emma Johnson, who keep all of our athletes healthy, safe, and hopefully coming back if there are injuries. So let's give them a round as well. And it's also great to see as many parents as we have in the room. So parents, I'm not going to make you stand or kind of be recognized individually, but I do want to make sure, especially for the winter season, as we talked about with just the length of the season and how long some of the days are, let's give the parents a big round of applause for everything they did for you and our programs this winter. It truly, I think, would not be possible to be in the situation we are and for all of you to be in the seats that you're in without the support and the care that your parents have put in. So parents, we appreciate everything you've done for your children and for King Athletics. I do want to recognize our athletic director, again, Mr. Decker, for all the work he does behind the scenes with the buses, the officials, uniforms, making sure that, again, once we get out to the games, that there aren't any glitches or things that slow us down from doing what we need to do. He's going to be our MC of ceremonies. I'm going to bring him up now, and I just want to make sure we give him a big round of applause for all he has done as well. And the last group before I turn it over, just because as a group of coaches, we very rarely have a chance to recognize as a full group. So the extraordinary work and the individuals and the teams of coaches that we have, can we have all of our winter coaches please stand so we can recognize you as a group as well. So again, thank you to everyone in the room for everything you did for the athletic program. Student athletes, again, you should be proud for everything you achieved and all that you accomplished. And we're thrilled to be able to celebrate again this morning with our recognition of team awards and all league. And again, thank you very much for coming out.
Thanks, Mr. Halvin, for your words. Appreciate them. We're going to move forward with the actual assembly part, and coaches, when you come on up, you'll talk about your teams for a little bit. We'll recognize our seasonal award winners. For those who are being recognized this morning, if you could kindly just stay up here until the last award's been announced, and then we'll recognize the team as a whole. We're going to start with our basketball program. We actually had 3 basketball teams, a varsity and 2 JVs. So we'll start with our JV blue team and our coach, Pat Morrison and Artie Waters.
Yeah, thanks. Good morning. Good morning. All right, we're all here. We're all here. First of all, I'd just like to thank Tom, Micah, for giving me the opportunity to come back and coach this year. Some of you know that I'm not from Stanford. Just came back from Philadelphia after 18 years being away from the area. And Tom gave me the opportunity to coach football here, which is, as you know, we had a pretty good last 2 seasons. And this year, I have an opportunity to coach basketball for the JV team. Just want to say thank you again for giving me the opportunity while I'm here. Also like to thank, of course, my right-hand man, Artie Waters, who we coached together in football as well as basketball. Those days when I couldn't be at practice, running to pick my son up down in New Rochelle, Iona Prep, Artie always came through. When my wife was in the hospital, he covered many practices for me, and I really appreciate it, Artie, for being there by my side. I just want to go real quickly through these names, and it just relates to the kind of season we had. I'm going to say the names. I'm going to give you their nickname real quick. Brian Ortiz, Mr. Hoodie. Paul Frank, dribbles. Tom Kelly, I would say Mr. Calm. Opposite of that, but we'll go with that. Peter Marsh, Mr. Excitement. Julian Gonzalez, Mr. Ethan McCusker, Mr. Defense. Luke, Mr. Impersonator. We'll talk about it later. Richard Char, Mr. Three-Pointer. Terry McGinnis, Mr. Tennis Star. Jack Armstrong, Mr. Disney, I put to it, Mr. Star Wars. Yeah, we're going Mr. Star Wars. And all that to say that if you know our season, it wasn't probably the best season. It was a challenging season. But these personalities came out during the week, came out in practice, that made the week go better. It made us, in spite of a loss, we came back to practice. These personalities came out. Either Jack had to be at a Star Wars opening, or Brian came in a full sweatsuit without his uniform. It gave us something to talk about in practice. You had to do extra suicides, but we talked about it in the midst of doing our suicides. It gave us something to smile about. It gave us something to keep us into the game, that kept us focused. So I appreciate all you guys. It's not about winning all the time, although we want to win. We want to enjoy the game. We want to enjoy the process that leads up to the game. We want to be the best that we can be at the game. But if not, it's not the end of the day. It's the process. It's the journey that gets you there. And I enjoyed my journey this year, in spite of the record. I enjoyed it. You guys kept me laughing on those long trips back home after a loss, when I would hear the impersonations of different characters and different voices. I was amazed, like how talented our boys are, in spite of basketball, in spite of winning. They have so many other talents. So many other talents that kept us together, that kept us enjoying the game, and it kept me wanting to come back. Every time in practice, we had a great time. So I just want to say thank you, boys, for this year, for keeping a smile on my face. Because sometimes I can be a little intense. I have that football background. But you guys kept the tense off of my shoulders. You allowed me to relax, and you allowed me to enjoy myself this year, coaching you guys. I would say thank you to the JV team. Thank you much. Before we go into the awards, just want to thank, once again, you already mentioned it, Micah, but Jason and Karen, while I stood on the sidelines coaching, they would say things in my ear that kept me smiling, said, Pat, it's okay, stay loose, relax, everything's going to be okay. So I just want to say those guys put a smile on my face, too, during the season. So as we go into the awards, first one, let me just get that. So we mentioned about the nicknames. In the beginning of the year, this individual, I'm not sure if this was his first year playing on this level, but in spite of what ended up, he gave you all that he could on every play, on every offensive play, every defensive play. He was there, he gave his all, and he was working hard every day. In spite of he made a shot, in spite of he missed a rebound, he worked every day. And I called him earlier Mr. Excitement, Mr. Energy. It goes to Peter Marsh. CTE, brother, CTE. No, give me that. That was Peter Marsh, right? Okay. Yeah, give me that one. No, you get it. Good job, Peter. Good job. Congratulations, Peter. The next one goes to an individual we mentioned earlier, also with his nickname, Mr. Energy. Always worked hard, You know, like I said, we had a challenging season, but when we put him in the game, he was not a starter. But when we put him in the game, we knew he was going to get some rebounds. You know, he had an open shot. He was going to shoot it. They all know I gave them the green light. If you're open, shoot it. A lot of guys shot it. If it was open or not, they shot it. But he was there, if they missed, to get some rebounds for us. You know, in the beginning of the year, we were working with basic fundamentals. When he got into the game, he executed those fundamentals. And we really appreciate his effort and his excitement and his energy. That will go to Ethan McCusker. I'll shake his hand. Good job, Ethan. And thank you all. Thank you again. Thanks, Artie.
Thanks, Coach. We had a second JV team, a JV Red team, coached by Mr. Boaz and Coach Wilson, who will not be here this morning. So, Adam, you can come up, please.
Good morning. I am pleased to be able to address the whole community and let them know how much I enjoyed working with this group of young men. It was truly a great experience for me. I hope that they enjoyed it. The purpose of junior varsity basketball is to work on fundamentals, team tactics, and prepare these young men for playing at the next level if they wish to. And these guys certainly did that. We had a competitive team. We had a strong team. We won our share of games, and every coach at the end of the game during the handshake line expressed to me how hard and how well our boys played, and I was really very, very proud of them. You know, a number of young men stood out. We got wonderful, wonderful leadership from our captains, Sam Rabasa and Matt Rohr. They were consistently at practice, ready to organize the team, ready to get them going. Occasionally I would have difficulty getting over to practice on time after my last class, and every time I would walk into the gym, team's already doing layup lines, organized, ready, and I appreciate that leadership. I had the pleasure of coaching Jack Riley. In my 15 years of coaching various sports, I have never had a player who competes harder than that. Harrison Feinberg, who played the entire season with a very painful knee condition and continued to give us, you know, athleticism on the offensive and defensive end when he didn't have to. I had hoped that after soccer season, Connor Newman would stop making fun of me. He did not. And I was the constant butt of jokes and ridicule. But it's very important because Connor has a way of keeping the team loose, of keeping the humor going, as Coach Pat talked about on those long bus trips, and we appreciated that. I think the highlight of our season was going to the Harvey School with only 7 players due to illness, injury, and other school commitments. And we went out there, and James Hudson took on a role that he had to do and played defense and rebounded, and Alex Rogers scored 25 points, and Max Parrott and Jack Chaya took over the ball handling duties with our absent senior point guard, and we beat them despite them having 18 players, which they ran at us for most of the second half, and it really sort of showed that the team concept really resonated with these guys, and I really appreciated that. And the hard work and the practices, and winter is a long season, and I really appreciate the spirit in which these guys represented King. I was proud to be their coach, and I know that Coach Wilson, who's not here today, feels the same way. We have a couple of awards. So the Coach's Award goes to somebody who did literally everything I asked. He was our coach on the floor. When we had offensive or defensive problems, he would come over and he would look for some nugget of coaching wisdom. And I was like, dude, figure it out. And so the Coach's Award goes to Matt Rohr. It was certainly difficult to pick a most improved player because I can honestly say every single boy who played for JV Red finished the season a better basketball player than when he started. But this young man who was playing basketball with us, he at the beginning of the year, who was a little timid, and both I and his teammates were frustrated because we could see the potential. And by the end of the season, he was not only a valuable contributor, the game had slowed down for him, and he was able to really sort of be aggressive and show, and he's only scratching the surface of his basketball potential. Our most improved player, not only for the improvement that he made on the court, and the contributions that he made every day in practice with his good nature, but for listening to me scream at him nonstop for the entire winter season, Ryan Heaton. And I wish that there were an award I could give out for the entire rest of the team. So if they just stand really quickly so they could be recognized, all the guys, please.
Thank you, Adam. I'm going to ask our head varsity boys basketball coach, Greg Dobbs, and assistant Pat Nielsen to come up, please.
Good morning. Before I start, I too would like to echo the thank yous for all of our athletic administration, Mr. Halbin, Mr. Decker, KC, Coach G, and also Emma and Jason. I think Emma and Jason definitely earned their money this year with the boys varsity basketball team. Just a few thoughts about our season this year. We finished with a record of 7 wins and 19 losses. In FAA league play, we were 4-10. That might not sound all that impressive, but 4 league wins is the most we've had in the last 5 years. With a solid group of returning veterans and a young core of promising first-year players, we are very excited about this team from the start. Playing a highly competitive schedule where we rarely step on the floor as favorites, our boys fought hard and always believed that we had a chance to win. Through hard work and determination, we improved as a team and became more and more competitive with the top teams on our schedule as the season progressed. I'm very proud of you boys for that. The highlight of the season was a come-from-behind win at Brunswick, led by seniors Evan Townsend Henry and Ren Lentz. This win, as Mr. Halbin referred to earlier, secured the 4th seed in the FAA tournament and our first home game in 8 years. In that playoff game with Brunswick, our boys fought back from a 15-point deficit to take a 3-point lead with 18 seconds left, only to be undone by an improbable 30-foot three-pointer to send the game into overtime, where we eventually lost by 3 points. Throughout, with some thrilling wins and heartbreaking losses, the boys remained positive and optimistic and fought to the end. You all have much to be proud of. Would you please stand up to be recognized? Our most improved player. Usually the most improved player award goes to a player who has worked hard to improve their skills and comes back the following year as a much better player than the year before. Although this young man has certainly worked hard in the offseason to hone his skills, the truth is that his contributions and production this season came as no surprise to anyone on our coaching staff. We knew from the time that Alex Canaveri arrived at King that he would be a very good player. The only question was when. Given a chance to step into the starting lineup this year as a junior, he did not disappoint. Alex started all 26 games this year and led our team in scoring, amassing a total number of points of 421 and an average of 16.2 points a game. Much like his brother Trey, Alex is an exceptional shooter. His adjusted field goal percentage of 52% was best on the team. He made a total of 71 three-point attempts at a rate of 39%, an exceptional number. He was also our leading free throw percentage shooter and was third on the team in assists handed out. Sometimes players work hard to improve, and sometimes they produce at a high level when given the opportunity. Both apply to Alex. It is my pleasure to give this year's Most Improved Player Award to Alex Canaveri. Come on, Akan. Congratulations. The Coaches Award. I think I've given the Coaches Award to this young man before. Ren Lentz has been a member of the varsity basketball team for the past 4 years. He was named captain of the team both his junior and senior year. Ren is being recognized today with our Coaches Award, not only for his contributions as a basketball player, but also as a leader, mentor, and positive example to our young athletes throughout the school. On the basketball floor this year, Ren was one of our most productive players, averaging 12 points and 6.5 rebounds a game. He was one of our leaders in almost every statistical category. He played a crucial role, as I mentioned before, in the come-from-behind win against Brunswick. He had a career-high 28 points against Hamden Hall late in the season to go along with 10 rebounds. Ren finishes his career with a total of 653 points scored. Ren will finish his athletic career at King this spring with the baseball team. That will mark his 12th season as a varsity athlete. That is a rare accomplishment in high school sports these days. It has been a privilege to coach Ren, to watch him grow as a player, and most importantly, to watch him blossom into the young man that he has become. Someone that the entire King community can be proud of. This year's Coaches Award goes to Ren Lentz. Most Valuable Player Award. During our end of the season exit meeting that we have with each of the boys at the end of the season, Levon Lewis expressed to me that he did not feel that he had produced at the level that he was capable of. As I said at our team banquet on Sunday evening, I think he did pretty well. We ask a lot from our players. With Levon, we asked him to do a number of things this year that he had never been asked to do before. We asked him to be our primary ball handler, even though during his playing career he's spent most of his time underneath the basket as a big man. We asked him to initiate offense. We asked him to handle the ball against full court pressure. We asked him to score inside and out. Levon was second on the team in scoring with an average of 14.6 points per game. He led the team in rebounding with an average of 11.1. He also led the team in assists, steals, deflections, and block shots, virtually every positive statistical category that we track. He also led the team in free throws made and just happened to make 13 three-pointers along the way. I would say that was a pretty productive season. I am certain that Levon will work hard to improve those skills necessary to continue to develop his all-around game. Levon, I think next year could be a very productive season. This year's MVP award goes to Levon Lewis. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. As we indicated earlier, this year we actually had our first ever indoor crew team, so I'd like to ask our head coach, Doug Fishkin, assisted by Luke Auger, to come on up and present these awards.
Morning, everyone. I want to start by thanking Mr. Decker and Mr. Halbin for your continuing support for all of crew, not only getting it going for the fall, but for winter and spring as well. I also want to thank King Athletic trainers Emma Johnson and Jason Boughton for all their help. You guys taped a lot of blistered hands this winter and helping the kids with injuries. I also want to thank the entire team for your being very coachable, your willingness to push yourselves to physical limits that you never imagined. I want to thank the team captains, Alex Noor, James Ross, Sidney Fishkin, for your leadership. The King crew began last spring with 12 rowers. We had 10 boys and 2 girls. The program is growing. This winter we had 8 boys and 8 girls training 6 days a week. This spring, we're going to have 8 girls and 15 boys. It's really a great thing. I can't wait for you guys to get on the water and see what it's like for real. The purpose of winter crew training is to build and broaden each athlete's aerobic base, increase their anaerobic threshold, build strength, and learn pacing. Spending hours each week rowing on the machines, running up and down the steps, doing sprints, running distance can be a real grind. But when the athletes see results, it starts becoming a lot of fun and very motivating. These results can be as simple as looking better, but for our team, it was continuing to improve upon their personal best times on the rowing machine and learning how not just to complete a workout, but to really attack a workout. The team competed in the Connecticut Indoor State Rowing Championships the end of January. There were hundreds of rowers competing at this event from all over the state. King had 3 athletes with top 20 finishes in their events. All 3 of these rowers have been rowing less than 9 months. 2 had just started in November. They have all since improved those race times and will definitely be contenders in those events next winter. The King rowers are stronger, have much better aerobic conditioning than they had 3 months ago, and this should really bode well for a spring racing season. Right now, I'd like to give the mic to Coach Auger, who will say a few words about the girls program and present the awards to the girls.
All right, the girls' team worked incredibly hard this winter. Rowing is a 4-season sport, with winter training being the most grueling and intense of the 4. During winter, countless hours are spent on the rowing machine, stairs, doing core, doing anything else to improve your fitness level to get ready for the races in the spring. Most of the girls have never rowed before, so it's really impressive to me that they came into and excelled at the sport during its most challenging season. The great thing about first-year rowing and why I'm really excited for the spring is that medals really go to the crews that are able to learn the quickest and to work the hardest. So I'm really excited to see what the girls do this spring, since they've already proven that they can do that in the winter. For the awards, the most improved goes to an athlete who came in with no prior rowing experience but finished the season with a tremendous 2K time, the fastest weight adjusted on the team, and a never give up attitude. She was consistently at practice and always looking for those extra seconds on the rowing machine. Given the work ethic and fitness level she achieved this winter, it'll be great to see how she does on the water. Most improved goes to Meredith. Nice job. The Coach's Award goes to one of the few experienced rowers on the team, and she had a tough time from the start, being expected to show the newer athletes what winter training was about and being thrown into a leadership position because of her experience. She rose to the occasion and led by example, showing the other athletes what the sport requires and by showing what is possible on the rowing machine. Through hard work and despite injury, she also achieved the fastest 2K time on the team. Coach's Award goes to Sydney. All right, and I'll hand the mic back over to Doug for the awards on the boys' side.
Thanks, Luke. What's really exciting about the girls is that all of them are freshmen. So in 2 years, girls, you're going to be flying. Most improved athlete goes to an athlete who came to rowing with good aerobic conditioning from soccer, although a very tight lower back and hamstrings that we're working on, and a willingness and a great attitude to improve his rowing technique and all the physical and mental attributes needed to be a great oarsman. He wanted to pull hard from the start, but had to learn proper technique. He listened to the coach's inputs, always tried to make changes and adjustments, and I know this athlete will transition well to rowing on the water. The most improved award goes to Sani Silvani. Congratulations, buddy. The Coach's Award goes to an athlete who came to practice every day in, day out, thoroughly embracing the concept of attacking each training session. Since he began rowing last April, he's cut 1 minute and 25 seconds from his 2,000-meter time on the ergometer. There's still longer hanging fruit for him to cut even more time. He finished 14th at the State Indoor Championships in the lightweight 19-year-old and under division. By next winter, I have no doubt he'll be contending for first place. In addition to being a dedicated athlete, he's also a leader on the team who motivates his teammates in practice, leads by example, and is mature. Also a pleasure to coach. If he has one flaw, it was that he doesn't know how to rest. When I found out that he was training 7 days a week, he wasn't taking Sundays off, I had to say something. We know that God wants everyone to take a day of rest, and so does your coach. Alex Noor, please come up and get the Coach's Award. Will the entire winter rowing team stand up and be recognized? Thank you.
Thanks, coaches. We're going to head over to our squash team. We had 2 boys teams. We had a JV team and a varsity team. And our boys coach is Gamil Galifi and are assisted by Mark McAndrews. If you two could come up, please.
Good morning. It's first season for me at King School. My name is Gamal Amir. I'm from Egypt. I'm so happy to do that this season, and I see a lot of improvement in that team. The reason I say that, because there's beginning of the season, end of the season, I see a lot of improvement in every player. If I could, I will give everyone trophy for everyone, but I will do that probably, invite him to come and to play with me just for free, whatever, if they want. Anyway, we start with GBT team. The most improvement is Tyler Friedman. I'm doing good. Amen. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. The coaching word is this young man, he's really trying hard. For that short time, he's been playing squash, and I'm proud of him from my experience, and I want him to keep playing for next season to prove himself more than that. His name Thomas Koblin. Amen. Good. We go for varsity team. We start with coaching word. Coach Ward, this young man, I enjoy watching him when he play. He enjoyed every minute when he go in the court and the training and go for team, for matches. David Shotton. You look good, man. You look good. You look good. And most improvement, I will say it's amazing improvement for him to play individual sport, and he get that level so fast. He's Alex Liam. The most valuable player. It's amazing. If you see him last week, he played matches for New England. He was 2-1 down, match point down, and I don't know for reason he is kill himself every point for the team. And he win that game, and he win last game. He play high standard of his squash career. He's George Taylor. And I like to say I'm so proud of everyone being in our squash team, and hopefully next year we'll be together again and we keep doing that better and better. So everyone stand up from the squash team to give hand.
Thank you, Gamal. I'm going to ask Coach McAndrews to step here to present our girls squash awards. Unfortunately, Mena Nasir, our girls head squash coach, had to fly back to Egypt. Also, one just slight housekeeping note, if you are being recognized, can you come in front of the podium? Last couple of times you've been coming behind the podium. There's some wires back here, and I don't think Jason and Emma are here, so we don't have to call 911. So, Mark, the girls squash.
Thank you. Talk briefly about Mena. Mena was a fantastic coach. She is a professional squash player out of Egypt, and she was here while she was doing PT to heal from an injury. So we were very fortunate to have her for our girls team. I think she did a terrific job. And she wrote this. She was really sad that she couldn't be here to talk, so she wrote the speech that I'm reading today. Hopefully I read it well. But because she's back at Egypt now pursuing her career once again that she's healed. So, hello everyone. I would like to start by thanking everyone who helped me make this season so enjoyable. The parents, Mark, Tom, and everyone who made so much efforts to make everything perfect. It would not be the same without you. I'd also like to thank each and everyone on the team. Each one of you has taught me something and has created a lasting impression on me, and my hope for each of you is that you remain constantly aware of how amazing you are. You are wonderful examples of ladies who know how to work hard and support each other. I was so proud to represent you, and it has been an honor and privilege to be associated with a group of people as good as the ladies you are. If I was a good coach this year, then it means that I helped grow the love of the game inside you, and that has been my goal besides making you improve and enjoy it as much as you can. It was really hard for me to choose awards because each one of you deserves one, but each one of you has worked so hard, and I'm so proud of all of you, and you have done a great job throughout the season. Unfortunately, with Michelle Moulet's injury, she was not able to play in the matches, but she worked very hard through it at the beginning of the year. Ellie was superb with her fighting spirit in all her matches, and we must not forget the wonderful contributions of Olivia, Kate, and Lauren, who just started playing a few months ago and have come a long way in a very short period of time. On to our awards. Our Most Improved Player Award Most Improved Player Award to the player whose by her commitment and performance has improved her squash over the season. The player who came a long way this season and made great gains each time she got on the court. It gives me great pleasure to award the Most Improved Player Award to Riley Hicks, who won most of her matches this season. Sportsmanship Award goes to a player who loves competition, who is a gracious winner and a gracious loser, who represents the principles of fair play and sportsmanship both on and off the court, and who always is there to help her teammates. I know you are poised for great success, and I know you understand the challenge ahead of you, and I wish you the best in college. This year's Sportsmanship Award goes to Maeve Snover. One correction, that was most valuable player, not sportsmanship. It got mixed up here on the speech. I apologize, but congratulations, Maeve, on MVP. Coach's Award goes to the most consistent player, the one who always comes early, the one who would always have her voice cheering on, you would always hear her voice cheering on her teammates, even if you were miles away, and whose enthusiasm is always to learn and get better, and it's infectious. She cares about her team and is always looking out for her teammates. It is my pleasure to award the Coach's Award this year to Delaney Harris. My thanks to everyone for a wonderful season. It has been a pleasure to serve you all, and I wish you the best of everything for your futures. Will the entire girls squash team please stand and be recognized?
Thank you, Mark. We're going to move on to ice hockey. Our varsity boys head coach is Guy Savage, assisted by John Luisa.
Hi there, everybody. I think we're a little short on time, so I'm going to keep it nice and quick. First things first, it's my first year here. I'm new, and I just want to thank the faculty, staff, administrators, and the students for being so welcoming. It's been awesome running into everyone in the hallways. Everyone's been helpful, and it's been a fantastic experience. I also want to thank Micah and Tom for being Micah and Tom, Jason and Emma, and Karen for driving our boys to and from the rink. It's been fantastic. Also, Marcia, Randy, and Christina, our team parents. It's great. You did so much for us. Vic and Tori, awesome statisticians, great team managers. And especially want to thank Coach John and Coach Tim. Without them, the season would not have been as much of a success. And on that, going on to the team, this season was such a success for us, besides wins and losses. I'm so proud of these guys, and I know they know that. Everything that they've accomplished this year, they've worked so hard for. And win or loss, they carried themselves professionally. They carried themselves with sportsmanship. And I am so proud of each and every gentleman and lady. And on that subject, I just want to recognize a couple of people really quick. We were a co-ed team, and Colby Lopez Balboa was a fantastic addition this season. She had 4 goals, but most importantly, she played against boys that had no problem checking. And one of the highlights of the season was when she absolutely nailed a guy like through the wall. It was one of the hardest hits of the year, and it was fantastic. It was awesome. So. And for a couple of our other seniors, one of our goaltenders, Brad Stanton. Brad had a couple of injuries this year, which derailed him, but he was always fun to have out there. He was 4-0 this season for us, and he will gladly tell you about all the Bitcoin that he owns. So, Brad, congratulations, bud. Great season. And our last 2 seniors, Kurt Voges. Kurt, in his 4 years, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but in his 4 years, he was a true Iron Man. He never missed a game. So that's a really, really great accomplishment for him. And then Richard Falk, he's Richard. So that's all I have to really say about him. But this team, guys, we were such a close, tight-knit family. And I really take so much pride in that we were just a group that came together, enjoyed being together, and it was such a fantastic experience for me, and I know for Coach as well. And I guess I want to say 2 things really quick. We battled so many injuries, which culminated in a game against Rye Country Day, where we had more players injured than we had players playing in the game. And with basically 8 players, we hung with the team that ended up winning the championship. And so proud of you guys for that. So I want to give a round of applause for you guys for playing through all that. And lastly, before we get on to the awards, one of my favorite sports movies is Hoosiers. And there's something that I said in the locker room before our last game, and I mean it now. It's the last speech that Gene Hackman gives in that, but I truly, guys, I want you to know that I love you guys. So on to the awards. So I like to canvass the team. This is for most improved player. I like to canvass the team and ask them questions, and on our long road trips, who's the best Fortnite player? It's not Tyler. Things like that. And, there are always different answers. But I'd ask who the most improved player was, and every single person came back with the same answer. He works hard off and on the ice, more so than occasionally. That's an inside joke for the hockey team. But Davis Knight. Come on up, Davis. Next will be the Coaches Award. This is a guy who played for us all season long. He was a fantastic defenseman. He'd get into the zone on road trips with his headphones on. We're pretty sure he was listening to math podcasts on there. But I think that kind of gave away who it was. But he played with an incredible intensity. He was always early on the ice, getting in extra work. He was ready to get in players' faces when that needed to happen. He conducted himself as a fantastic young man, and we're really excited to have him help lead the team next year. Cam Raker, Coach's Award. Let's go, Cam. Let's go. Come on. There you go. That's better. And for our MVP, as a coach, you're not supposed to have favorites, but I think everybody, especially on the team, knows who my favorite player is. he was the first person that I met here at King. Actually, he was in my interview. So he has done everything we have asked of him. We named him the team captain, and he was so much more than that. He was another coach out there. He would help with game plans. He'd help me break down film. He was there for every single player, whether they were a freshman or a senior. He is such a fantastic young man. I am so happy to be able to call him, to call myself his coach, and he was such a great young man, and more importantly, I'm really happy and proud to call him my friend. Richard Falk, MVP. Come on up. That's funny. Sure. Sorry, we'll recognize the whole team now, I guess. So you guys can stand up, and lady, you guys can stand up. Come on, come on. Thank you, guys. All right. All right, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Great words. Last but definitely not least, our varsity girls basketball team, head coach Emily Prince, assisted by Greg Fleming, Becky Lostine, and Allie Stoddard.
Hello, my name is Emily Prince, and together with Allie Stoddard, Becky Lotstein, and Greg Fleming, we are the basketball coaches. Thank you to everyone to help put this basketball team together. I recently heard an analogy about a swan that gracefully swims across, and all the feet are struggling underneath to keep up. And everyone who are the swan's feet, thank you for putting this team together. Lori Price, especially the team parent. In my 37 years of life, and perhaps my 30 years of competing in sports, winning has always been the #1 determiner of success. I've always been a double-goal coach, but never has that been more tried and true than this season. This season, I learned more in these 3 months than I have in my entire coaching career. And without stealing the girls' thunder, I will say this season was one of self-discovery. And I will share with you what I discovered. In college, if we lost, we were punished. One time I'll never forget, we were literally run into the ground. I could feel my legs no longer hold me up and support my weight. Oftentimes, I was expected to carry my team to victory. And if I didn't, my coach ripped me apart. And you can see it in society, too. In pro sports, if you lose, people are fired. If you lose a Super Bowl, you go home depressed. Even though what those athletes on both sides have accomplished is superhuman and something only regular people can dream of. I remember a no fear t-shirt I had as a kid that said second place is the first loser. And Vince Lombardi described it as the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. But this season, the King girls basketball team challenged Lombardi's belief that thrills can only be found in victory. In their 15 years, they displayed more understanding and character than many pro athletes have their whole lives. And in doing so, the students became the teachers. The King girls basketball team forced me to question winning and losing. And I will quote Bill Gates, who said, "It's fine to celebrate success, but it's more important to heed the lessons of failure." Why are you guys laughing? I'm going to evoke an event and relate it to my basketball team. In 2015, Jordan Spieth rose to stardom and won the Masters. He even got the lucrative Under Armour sponsorship. Every news story followed him. And in 2016, with all eyes on him, he bombed the Masters. When the winning storyline was incomplete, everyone began blaming and questioning. And Jordan gracefully put the green jacket on his opponent and never showed any signs of unsportsmanlike behavior. And I was more taken back by his caddy. His caddy's reaction was this: "Yes, the 2016 Masters stung. And our 2017 and 18 girls basketball season stung occasionally. But don't feel sorry or sad for us. We won't get stuck in this moment, nor should you. We will work harder, fight harder, and be better for it. We will bounce back as we have done many times, and that the girls did. At the end of the day, this is a sport, and I'm especially thankful to have family and friends, athletic directors and supporting staff who treat us the exact same regardless of wins and losses. This isn't life or death stuff. There are far greater struggles that exist in this world than not winning this sport. We are beyond blessed to do what we do and compete as we do and live with able minds and bodies. We are grateful to work alongside great teams and great athletes, and it is a challenge we should relish. A wise coach reminded me recently, winning shows your character and losing shows all your character. Our team continues to model grace and humility through wins and especially losses. We shouldn't be laughing. And the students continue to teach the teacher and now millions of others. Just as this quote about success and failure reshapes our understanding of sports, the King girls basketball team matured my understanding of sports. And they changed my entire perspective and helped me see things in a whole new light. This is not life or death. There are people with far greater struggles. And thank you, girls, for showing me this. And I am not saying that King varsity sports should not strive to win or be victorious, but that success can be defined by more than a win or a loss. And these lessons from sports are so much more robust than just measuring success by score sheets and points. And on that note, I would be amiss to not single out the girls on this team who became the teachers and showed the same genuine, grounded, and humble girls they were in victory and defeat. Diana Degnan, Kate Lockyer, Christine Hansen, Desaya Anderson, who's abroad, Erica Cunningham, Rachel Oberst, and Steph Costabile all contributed to the success of this team. They were fun, upbeat, and always had a twinkle in their eye. Always. Olivia Beckman and Zoe Tenez started almost every game and probably felt the most pressure out of anyone because they were freshmen and they were expected to help carry this team. Everyone on our team could have gotten most improved, but especially Zoe and Olivia. They both grew so much as players and people, and they are going to be amazing next year and the years to come. And the next girls, you are getting the awards after I blurb away about you. Lily Davis, you showed up the first few tournaments with moves worthy of MVP status. Everyone remarked, "Lily is good." When Lily was on the court, she controlled the key. She pushed through sickness mid-season and thankfully came back determined to pick up where she left off, and she even stayed late after practices, working on her shots for hours. Her hard work paid off and has earned her the most improved player. Lily Davis. Hug, shake hands, hug, shake hands. Alana Christie was our MVP and high scorer. She held us in the games and helped give us the offensive power to compete. Alana remained positive as much as she could and helped lead us to a few victories that we did have. I know Alana was frustrated at times, but she did her best to remain positive and worked so hard to help her team get better every day. She averaged 18 points a game. She is the player that the coaches on the other teams are concerned about. She can slash to the paint and with left and right hit layups, and as she draws the foul, she always converts the foul shot. She's only 30 points away from 1,000 and will definitely hit that next year. MVP Alana Christie. And last but not least, Abby Price. Abby, this speech was pretty much about you, and whether or not you would admit it, you should know it. Your character is undeterred. You exhibit and possess a trait seldom seen in lifetimes, and you are so comfortable in your skin. You, the student, have become the teacher. You know your worth, and you don't need trophies or awards. You are not afraid to celebrate the success of others. You will take a back seat and allow the younger players to learn, but then step up and step in when the team needs you. You have earned my respect and the respect of your teammates. I can recount only a few people in my life that have demonstrated the steady, positive demeanor, whether winning or losing, and Abby has that. The Coach's Award and all my respect goes to Abby Price. Can the basketball team please stand up to be recognized? Thank you.
We can fix it, Abby. Yeah. Thank you, Emily. Just going to take a couple more minutes to do some postseason recognition. We had a coaches meeting here Monday night where the coaches gathered around and selected our All-League and honorable mention All-League players. So when your name is announced, if you could kindly stand and if we could hold the applause until the end, that'd be great. In boys basketball, making FAA All-League honors is Levon Lewis. Honorable mention All-League honors Alex Canaveri. In girls basketball, FAA Honorable Mention All-League, Alana Christie. In ice hockey, FAA All-League, Richard Falk. Honorable Mention All-League, Cam Raker. In squash, FAA All-League, Maeve Snover, George Taylor. FAA Honorable Mention All-League, Riley Hicks and Gabe Salvi. Congratulations. We also had one recipient receive All New England recognition, and in girls basketball, Alana Christie. And if the following people could come up on stage, we're going to recognize our four-year varsity letter winners. We're going to go with girls squash first to make time. So Mae Snover, Austin Hanley, Gabe Salvi. For squash, please come up. In basketball, Ren Lintz and Evan Henry. In girls basketball, Abby Price. And in ice hockey, we had Richard Falk, Brad Stanton, and Kurt Voges. Congratulations to all of you. And before we conclude, I'd like to have Chrissy Nelly and Victoria Crow come up, please. They are going to announce the winners of our Winter-Spring Spirit Contest. So if Chrissy and Victoria can come up. And then upon the conclusion of the assembly, can all the award winners meet out in the PAC lobby for a quick photo?
Hi guys, so you guys sent in a bunch of really great selfies this season, and in fourth place we have the sophomores with a total of 18 points. In third place, the freshmen with a total of 26 points. In third, the seniors with 63. And the winners for a dress down day are the juniors with 91 points.
So on Monday, March 26th, which is the first day we get back from spring break, the juniors will have a dress down day. And we're also going to reset the scores for the spring season. So everyone is going to start from zero today. And this weekend, the play is going on. So if you go and send a selfie, that's 5 points. So I hope you guys go and get a head start for the spring season. Thank you.
Congrats to all the winners.
Thank you. This concludes the ceremony.